Hey, showtime. Places, everybody. Do some dailies, read some Umineko. This is the second to last Umineko stream that we will have. I don't suspect we'll finish the story tonight. We might. If it gets really good and I want to keep going, I will keep going. But the plan is now to finish it on Saturday, October 5th. Hopefully I can finish right at midnight. Actually, if I could get some kind of like explosion sound effect and I just have it go off at midnight on Saturday and just end the stream. That would be really funny. Okay, mini crossword. What very stands for in the mnemonic, my very educated mother, Venus, like some mobile game purchases, come up as in a situation more than just enjoyed. Hockey goal component, probably a net. Tube in a lab, that is a, I don't know. Disgraced emergency company with 2001, that's Enron. Overly trusting, perhaps. Naive. Underdog's victory, that's an upset. Went really fast, sped. In-app purchases, arise, and loved. And it was vile. Nice. The Rysair explosion incident, that would be so good. Words. Words. What is this? The O is not second. Wait. Meow. There's got to be like one. Is it Wumbo? There's got to be like one word that fits here. Wang. What this is? I feel like I could get it in two though. Wumbo. Weebo. Fun. I don't know what this is. Widow. Um. Wow. Whammo. That doesn't fit anymore. Wow. WH probably, right? Who? Oop. Give me something. Give me something. Walol. OG maybe? I just need to do another word to get some letters. I hate doing this. I just gotta get something. There's an A in it. Okay. W-A. O-A maybe? Um. Go. Just to get info. W-A blank O blank. Wazoo? No, it can't be. I'm gonna be so upset when I see what it is. I also got on the last one. There's not much left, right? Can't be Wallop. I think that has 2 L's as well. Wax on. Okay. We got there. Thrace. What was the first American sports team valued by Forbes? Yankees. Thanks to his contract with the NFL since 1978, we've had to watch the annual Thanksgiving game with what team? Cowboys. Near the Ivory Coast and the Pepper Coast, Ghana was once known by what similar name? Diamond Coast? There's also the name of an Australian city between Brisbane and Sydney. Guinea? The part of Florida where you'll find Miami. South? What? Some fungus family that gives us penicillin provides some extra oomph to what broad class of cheeses? Blue cheeses. Yeah! In math, the proof by exhaustion is known as what brute force technique, or proof by what? Contradiction? This is probably induction. Doing close-up medical research study on a single patient is called a what study? Patient. Liberal laureates in Paul Berg and Alfred got their PhD at Ohio's what Western University? Case. Oh, yeah, makes sense. Either this wallpaper goes or I do. These are the certain apocryphal last words of what poet? Ellison. Better nonsense our stage has not been, said a critic of the importance of being earnest, but what Irish playwright? Wait. The Picture of Dorian Gray is a soul novel by what polymath? Oh. Is this Tennyson? Nope. We got 6 whole points. Hog. Connection. Oscar Wilde. Ski, pant, prune juice, punch, pot, milk, smite, soda, milk, juice, water, beverages. 1 away. Punch instead of water, maybe. Nice. Ski lodge. Bookend. Earbud, bookend, sock. E, things that come in pairs. Pant. Fertilize, blouse, prune, stick. Water, fertilize, prune, and pot. Things to do with a plant, yeah. And stick, blouse, pant, smite. Bugs plus a starting letter. I can't ever stand the purples. Movie to movie. Oh, goodness gracious. All right, we might have to go Jude Law. Oh, Willem Dafoe. Okay, solved. Existence is easy. Oscar Isaac. Oscar Isaac to Willem Dafoe has to be pretty doable. You can give me Oscar Isaac's... We need Dafoe. Spider-Verse. Easy. And then I think you just get Toby in this, right? This is Across the Spider-Verse. You get one of the Spider-Men in here, don't you? There's no way you don't get one of the Spider-Men in this. We can go Donald Glover. Actually, can we do better? I have a connection, but we might be able to do better. Into the Spider-Verse. Yeah, we might just have to go with my original plan. We just have to get to Dafoe. Getting to Willem Dafoe is easy. Actually, if we can get to, like... We can get to, like... Who's in X-Men? Wait, Oscar Isaac's in X-Men Apocalypse? Hog? Oh, he's like a main character? I'd like to get there more quickly. But I don't know if we can do much better than like 3 or 4. This isn't helping, though. This isn't getting us to Willem Dafoe. I want, like... I'm trying to think of where I want to go with Dafoe. You can get him through Robert Pattinson. You can get him through any of the Spider-Men. What else is he in? He's in Boondock Saints, but I don't think we can really... Wait, Ex Machina? Hold on, did I get it in 1? Oh, no, I'm going backwards. Okay. Dune Me? Was Willem Dafoe in Aquaman? I'm losing my way here. I'm getting off track. Oscar Isaac, Spider-Verse. Donald Glover. Homecoming. Tom Holland. No Way Home, which we get here anyways. Defoe, Existence. Okay, 3, not bad. We could have went through Annihilation. I'll take that. May 19th, 1989. Olge. 15 milli. Fell off a little bit in its second week. TriStar with Richard Pryor. Is this Blazing Saddles? No, I can't imagine he wouldn't be. Is this Richard Pryor, the comedy special? Probably not. Also with Gene Wilder. Isn't this Blazing Saddles? Murder. The blind guy couldn't see it. The deaf guy couldn't hear it. And now they're both wanted for it. Oh, did they do another movie together? This Clue? A murder takes place in the deaf man who falls near the gunshot outside. See no evil, hear no evil. I've never heard of this. I guess these two were in Blazing Saddles, right? Unless I'm mistaken. I thought Blazing Saddles was Richard Pryor. Now that I think about it, the pro tag is a different guy for sure. I just don't remember if he was also in it. I feel like he was in it. First week, United Artists with Patrick Swayze. Is this Dirty Dancing? I feel like it would have made more money than that. Kelly Lynch. Dalton lives like a loner, fights like a professional, and loves like there's no tomorrow. This is some schlock. The Double Deuce is the meanest, loudest. Roadhouse? I don't know any of this garbage. 23 million, Universal, Kevin Costner, Amy Madigan. All his life, Ray Kinsella was searching for his dreams. Then one day, his dreams came looking for him. Iowa farmer who hears a mysterious... Oh, this is Field of Dreams. That one I could have probably gotten. Jim Belushi. Is this Blues Brothers? No. Is this Animal House? No. Mel Harris. Meet the two toughest cops in town. One's just a little smatter than the other. Cade 9. Oh, this move. Paramount. Dale Midkiff. Sometimes dead is better. After the Creed family's cat is accidentally killed, a friendly neighborhood... Oh, this is Pet Cemetery. %, baby. We got none correct. A whopping actual 0 points. Okay, give me Annie. Oh, yeah. Okay, just has mana. That's all we know. And male or otherwise denoted. Ezreal. Oh, not even ranged. Male, melee, mana. Could be like anything. Male, melee, mana. Came out after Ezreal. There's like a million of them. Darius. Can be a top laner. Came out before Darius, after Ezreal. Can be a top laner, not human. Male, melee with mana. Ooh, dear. So it's top jungle. Top jungle, not human. Top jungle, not human, mana, melee, male. Top jungle, not human, mana, melee, male. Nocturne. Nasus? Nasus came out earlier than all this. Not from any of these places as well. Probably a Yordle. Probably a Yordle. Could be, you know, well, who's the other Nasus? Renekton doesn't use mana. Let me try Nasus. I think it might give us some info. On all legs. On all legs. It's not Urgot. Urgot doesn't jungle. Right? Yeah, he doesn't jump. On all legs. Legs. Who's a legs? Cho'Gath? No, he came out on release. Wukong is a good guess. Wukong was a really good guess. It's not Rank. No. Rundees? I mean, can't be J4. He's human. The non-human too, specifically. I think it's a Yordle. Can't be Kled. It's not. Is it? It's not Kindred. Akarim. No. Scorpion guy Skarner. Skarner makes sense. It is Skarner. Okay. Good call. Quote, I don't like when prey talks back. Rengar. Cho'Gath. Nidalee. Ability. That's Blitz Hook. That's a net of sorts. Bard. Looks like they're shooting a net. Or like a propeller. Lux. I don't know. I give up. They're called Parallel Convergence. Caitlyn does shoot a net. Parallel Convergence. Oh, I lucked out. Okay. Oh, that's his W. MOG. Surfing. Talia. Easy. Flash art. This is Seraphine. This is DJ. Who's the DJ? Yasuo? Yeah, this is the DJ Yasuo. True damage Yasuo. Bing. Hokum dokum. Steel rock. Steel psychic. Metagross. Take it. Steel ice. Empoleon? Dang it. Steel rock. Not Steelix. Ice Kanto. Jinx. The goat. Psychic Kanto. Also Jinx. Let's go Kadabra. I feel like the middle evolution often gives you a lower percentage. Rock from Kanto. Graveler. Monotype Ice. Only Ice type. Glaceon. Only Psychic. want one that's like a little harder. How about Mime Jr.? It must be fairy type. Only rock type. Only rock type is also kind of hard. Stone Jorner. the technique works sometimes. Sometimes the technique works. Monotype Psychic, we can definitely get one here. I mean, Mewtwo seems so easy. What if we went Mewtwo Mega Y? Nobody's saying that crap. Yeah. There are only 2 Ice Steels, and it looks like one of them is Sandslash Alola. It is only Sandshrew and Sandslash Alola. Metagross, all these dudes, of course. Oh, Jirachi was another good one. Aggron is Rock Steel, as well as Stakataka. Stakataka is kind of sick. And Sheldon. Bazinga. Geodude is only rock type. Oh, no, he's rock and from Kanto. Yeah. Of course. Kabuto was a really good one. Abra, of course. A lot of psychic types. Gem 1 psychic is really strong. Jinx. Little Cloyster in here. You got, this is Ice Monotype. Snorunt is Ice Monotype. Look at that. Regice is a good guess, too. A lot of Monotype Ice. SQ Noise and SQ Ice. Yeah, learn something new every day. Guess the game. It's a brick wall. Doom. No, how about Where's Waldo? Oh, I thought I was onto something there. This Undertale? Is this Deltarune? Is this Ice Climbers? What? Oh, this is some ski lodge ass. What is this game? Caesar's Palace? It can't be Caesar's Palace 2000, right? Leisure Suit Larry in the Land of Lounge Lizards. Would have never, I never played those games. NFL, drafted in round 2 of LSU, this wide receiver played in New Orleans. Why am I even trying? See if we RNG into one. Okay, history. The security guard went from hero to falsely accused suspect after discovering pipe bombs planted in the backpack during the 1996 Olympics. I don't know this. It's probably a name I've heard, though. Albert Nobbs. Celebrity mashup. This is... Look at that. This is Ryan Gosling and Amy Schumer. Oh! Nailed it. Chain restaurants. Now discontinued, what major chain teamed with Pillsbury to make a fan favorite dessert item known as Cinny Minis? What major chain? Burger King? Yeah, I've had a Cinny Mini. Dynamite was the catchphrase of JJ. That was from Good Times, I believe. Movies. Sam Jackson played a man hired to protect a famous assassin, played by Ryan Reynolds, in this 2017 action comedy. Samuel L. Jackson played a man hired to protect a famous assassin, played by Ryan Reynolds, in this 2017 action comedy. I don't know this one. X-Men Origins Wolverine. The singer running up that hill. Oh, this is Kate Bush. Video discussion. Okay, we can do that. This was Richard Jewell. Never heard of him. And The Hitman's Bodyguard. That is a very straightforward title indeed. Video you would like me to see. Turning your... Oh. Okay. Okay, this looks pretty good. I see a recommended video of Adam Driver screaming. Adam Driver has been on my radar since, of course, Megalopolis has hit theaters, right? Peak garbage, right? I think everybody's about that. I really want to see that movie, personally. I think it could be a lot of fun to watch. Let's see what we got here. Turning your lightsaber off. The complete saga. Okay, Obi-Wan. Anakin. A little uncanny. Okay, they're gonna fight. Holy shit. That's kind of cheap, actually. I feel like a Jedi would know that you're turning your lightsaber off, though. The only Jedi who's beaten a Sith. I wonder if that's canon. I guess it would have been. Oh, he's going for it. It's when new tech is discovered. Oh, that's the classic. If I'm so ass, how come you're not beating me? He's dead. They have to heal him. Oh, and they're playing the N64 Pod Racer game? This game is awesome. That game was awesome. Oh, it's banned. Can't even keep it straight face. Oh, yeah. Accusing your opponent of cheating. I feel like this is a valid tactic. No matter what? Like, I don't know why nobody ever tried to do that. I guess the argument would be they're always stopping the opponent from doing that. Save it for nationals. The glitch you save for Evo. The elevator. The music keeps looping too. And shenanigans. Pretty powerful. The laugh. Cute. Wow. That's a classic meme. Yeah. Pretty funny. Yes. That's really funny. That was lovely. It was pretty funny. Oh. 1984. 184 million. Easy. Par 1. 1984. The Yoda scream was incredible. I mean, I love that noise. I thought it was you redeeming it again, but they just stuck it in there. What is this? Everyone knows this? It's par 1? Is this Material Girl? Yes! Everyone's favorite. Okay. We got food guesser. Noodles, lentils, chickpeas, kidney beans, ground meat, garlic. They just throw everything in here, huh? Savory noodle soup filled with vegetables, legumes, ground meat. Dollop of yogurt. Yogurt? Greece. Borders Greece. Southeast. Crete. Cyprus. Very hot. Northeast. Italy. Warmer. We're losing it. Croatia. What borders Greece? That isn't any of these. Oh my god. It looks so bad. Borders Greece. It's called Osh. It's Armenia, Georgia, Azerbaijan, Afghanistan, Iran, and Turkey. And I was... okay, here's your Greece, and it borders this way. Okay, understood. We are not going to do great here. Some chili. This looks like Waffle House chili. Or Steak and Shake chili. Sprouted moth beans, oil, mustard seed, cumin seeds, asafoetida, curry leaves. I mean, give me an Indonesia. Cold. Northwest of Indonesia. Give me a... Give me an Azerbaijan. Cooler. Back the other way. India. Okay, nice. Nice, nice. This looks like pho. It's not. Soy sauce-based chicken broth, seasoned with garlic and ginger. Firm noodles are cooked separately. This looks really good. Ramen noodles? Is it ramen? Is it just Japan? Okay. Yeah, okay. I mean, it looks really good. We got 10-5. Everybody knows everything, apparently. They got way up there. Guess the audio. (2008). Is this CeeLo? It's not fuck you. Is it? I think it's a Gnarls Barkley. But I don't know the song at all. It is Gnarls Barkley. It is called Who's Gonna Save My Soul. Did not know that one. Framed. Person on radio. Is this talk radio? Is this... not, it's not talk radio. Is this... Chronicle? Oh. Is this... wow. Give me another one. Guy on couch. Is this... give me another one. Give me another one. Give me another one. I don't know. Oh, is this Ghost? No. I have no idea what this is. After Hours? Never heard of it. Acted. These guys. Give me another one. Oh, it's the guy from the... He's the Trinity Killer from Dexter. Cameron Diaz. Cameron Diaz and that guy. Is this Shrek? It is. Wow. Nice. We love Shrek. It was not permitted to carry a steak knife in the engine room. Wait, each suspect... Okay. Steak knife cannot be in the engine room. This fingerprint was found on the deck. The Duchess was on the deck. A love boat. Traces of a weapon made of glass were found on the deck. Poison champagne. Has to be poison champagne. Poison champagne was on the deck, which is where Our Lady was. So we got that down. Either Major Red brought poison champagne or the steering wheel was in the lifeboat, but not both. Well, Major Red could not have brought the poison champagne, so the steering wheel was in the lifeboat. Which means this is this, and this is this. Grandmaster Rose was outdoors. Oh, so Grandmaster Rose was not in the engine room, is all that means. The suspect in the lifeboat was born on December 2nd. How would we know that? Oh, the signs. Sagittarius. So the green person was on the lifeboat. Which gives us perfect info. Perfect. And then the fishing spear was used to commit the murder. So the fishing spear was in the engine room, which is where this guy was. So it was Major Red with the fishing spear in the engine room. Easy. Today's murder solution consisted of Major Red, a left-handed Aries, which suggests you making a break with the past, and a fishing spear, which corresponds to willpower, desire, or innocence. This will lead ultimately to the engine room, generally signifying effort, resilience, and or energy. Okay. Neat. On to Umineko. Alright, so we have approached the end of the story. We're in the last little home stretch. And it really seems like, I mean, dare I say that all of this, from the beginning, was just the delusion of Angie, a very sad, lonely girl who needed something to cling to in her lonely, lonely life. May very well be. Get the tissues ready. I think it's going to get sad. I saw a shadow, which was apparently the driver, open an umbrella and come towards me. No, it's all real, especially the magic. You're right. Is this your backyard? The shadow questioned me. Of course, I couldn't answer it. If it is, then I must apologize. Yes, on a day with such fine weather, anyone would want to take a nap in such a lovely backyard as this. And yet, unless my memory fails me, the shadow crouched down and looked into my face. It was a woman. This is a public highway you're sleeping on. Do you want to become roadkill? Or maybe you already are roadkill. Well now, which one is it? I clenched my chest. I felt I needed to answer somehow and communicate my intentions. So finally, I managed to let a short groan escape. I see. So you aren't roadkill yet. And that was how I met Ikuko. The patient's body is in very frail condition. Some sort of memory loss is probable as well. We won't know for sure until the CT scan, but there may even be brain damage. It's lucky the damage is all we have to deal with. Any longer in a spot like that, and it would likely have been much worse. True. In any event, I recommend getting this checked at a large hospital. Thank you, doctor. Please, keep this off the record. It may not be much, but here's some money for your troubles. I see no reason to speak of this needlessly, but... No. I couldn't possibly accept this much. This almost sounds like what they did with Beato and Dr. Nanjo. In the end, the doctor took the money and swore to keep quiet about the matter. Newbie. Eventually, Hachijo returned. Oh, you're awake. How do you feel? I nodded weakly, letting her know that it wasn't so bad, for now. But where is this place? A room I have absolutely no memory of, and a house I don't remember at all. And first and foremost, here's a woman I've never seen. To start off, let me introduce myself. I'm Hachijo Ikuko. Feel free to casually call me Ikuko, or act more formal and call me Hachijo-san. Hachijo Ikuko. The Hachijo family owns a large amount of land and is fairly famous in these parts. Unlike my accomplished brothers, I'm what you might call a little eccentric. I got into a bit too much mischief, and my parents finally ran out of patience and kicked me out. I'm now confined to this house. As a hobby, I like to read detective novels, and I also write them. What's happening? My age is a single woman's secret. My heart is that of a girl, but I'm approaching the point where calling myself one becomes increasingly absurd. With the haze my mind was in, it was extremely hard to make out what she was talking about. However, I was able to pick up on the fact that she was trying to cheer me up. So what's your name? My name? Logically, I knew that, being a human, I must have a name. And I do have the feeling that I indeed have one. However, no matter how hard I tried to remember what it was, it just made my head hurt. Can you remember anything besides your name? Who am I? My head? No, even my heart was a mess of torn flesh. And I couldn't remember a thing, not even who or what I was. But I must remember. I had some kind of purpose. Or maybe a mission. In order to remember that, I first have to remember who I am. Who am I? What's my name? Where was I born and what's my birthday? I need to remember something. Anything. Age. Age? That's my little secret. 18. I look like I'm 18? No, I'm 18. Oh, so that's your age. Well now, thought you were being a bit too flattering. When I asked myself how old I was, the number 18 floated into my mind. To be honest, the number 18 felt a bit out of place. My mind felt much younger than that, and my pathetic body felt much older. I see. So you're 18, and that's all you can remember. I nodded weakly. I never knew that knowing nothing about yourself could make you feel this powerless. In that case, until you remember your name, let's give you the name Toya, written with the characters for 18 until you remember. Interesting. Hachijo Toya. What do you think? That sounds pretty cool. Yes, I must say I've impressed myself very much with that one. Hachijo Ikuko gave a satisfied laugh. From then on, I took the name Hachijo Toya. My inability to move my body was apparently due to a traffic accident. On that day, I had been hit by a car, and Ikuko had picked me up from where I lay on the street. If she hadn't hit the brakes, She probably would have driven straight onwards, thinking she'd run over a dead dog or something. Later on, perhaps rudely, I suspected that the one who hit me might have been Ikuko herself, but when I saw her completely undamaged front bumper, I gave up on that theory. What's happening? Hachijo Toya is the author from Angie's story. I don't know if this is Angie? Is Angie Hachijo Toya? Did Angie write all of this? Hachijo Ikuko lived in a small but lovely mansion on the top of a small hill in a village with a view of the sea. She also owned the hill behind her and was more than capable of enjoying the 4 seasons in privacy. As time passed slowly, my rehabilitation continued, and my ability to move improved bit by bit. However, it seems I really did suffer from some form of brain damage. Finding out who I was looked like it'd be a very difficult task. In the beginning, when I couldn't bear not knowing my identity, my head often hurt so much I felt as though it would explode. However, as I slowly accepted the fact that I was a new person with the new name of Hachijo Toya, the headaches became less frequent. That whole time, no memories returned to me except the fact that I had been 18. However, I was unable to remember any more, unable even to be sure that 18 was my true age. And eventually, I stopped trying to remember my former self. Oh, dude. How far in the future is this? Good morning, Toya. That was quite the storm last night. Were you able to sleep well? I had some trouble falling asleep, so I decided to read your manuscript. Oh my, how far did you manage to get? I finished it. Now there's a surprise. You managed to read through all of that in a single night? I was surprised too. Once I got into it, I'd finished before I knew it. It was like I had just skimming it, or maybe it was like I was taking in each page with just a glance. Sounds like you have some talent at speed reading. So how was it? What did you think of it? I liked it a lot. Still, if you don't explain that part about the ocean currents a bit more clearly, it might be a little unfair for a detective novel. Oh, but I thought it was great that you had foreshadowing with the ring right there at the beginning. After I finished, I had to go back to the beginning and slap myself for being so easily tricked. I think giving people that feeling is what detective novels do best. Did I say something to offend you? If I did, you have my apologies. No, of course not. Why are you apologizing? I'm just shocked, that's all. Your detailed opinions are worthy of praise, I believe. It seems you have some talent as a critic, or maybe a detective novel writer too. A detective novel writer? A critic? From across the fog of oblivion, I seem to remember myself fighting and arguing about mysteries, or something like that. The way of fighting, which I must have learned in the past, sent a surge of excitement through me. Mystery. Fighting. My head hurt. I took a painkiller and swallowed it with fresh water brought up from the well. Who am I really? No matter how much I thought, I could not remember. From what I've been told, the frequency of the headaches might be lessened by brain surgery, but there was no guarantee that it would do my memory any good. Ikuko said that she would let me have surgery if I wanted it. However, I refused. Even I can't remember it. The real me is still... Even if I can't remember it, the real me is still there, sleeping inside my head. I was scared that the surgery might harm that me somehow. By now, I've gotten used to dealing with headaches. As long as I don't force myself to remember the past, the headaches don't torment me every day. So bit by bit, I became free of the headaches and got used to my new life as Hachijo Toya. Hi, Saifu. How you doing? Welcome, welcome. How are you this Thursday evening? Gradually, my interest shifted from myself to Ikuko. Hachijo Ikuko. So, are we Toya? Are we seeing this from Toya's perspective? And this is like her daughter? Who... So obviously she just read her own book. The person whose perspective we're seeing this from literally read their own book. And that's why Ikuko was surprised. Because Ikuko's like, how could you not have seen that coming? you wrote that. But now is this Hachijo Toya with some kind of in her old age dementia, and she's remembering herself as an 18-year-old? This is from Toya's perspective. Yes, this is from someone named Hachijo Toya. Yes. But I'm saying, is this the Hachijo Toya that we met as Angie? Because that's not necessarily true. Because who we're looking at right now looks like the Hachijo Toya we met in 1998. So it's one of two things. Either, well, it could be more things, but it's either Hachijo Toya did meet Angie in 1998, had a daughter, and is now suffering from some kind of potential dementia or memory loss, and is much older, but thinks she's 18, and is being taken care of by her daughter. Would make sense. Or Hachijo Toya never existed as an individual, and Angie thought she was communicating with a Hachijo Toya, when in fact she was herself, like, doing all of that storytelling and writing. And now maybe this is an older Angie in a year far beyond 1998 who is having trouble remembering. I was very productive today. What is this game? Is it a visual novel? Yes, this is Umineko When They Cry. It's from the When They Cry series, which you may know for Higurashi as well. Higurashi When They Cry. That was the first, I believe, game or two in this kind of author's playbook. And then Umineko is technically 8 games, but they're gathered in groups of 4. So there's When They Cry 3, which is Umineko 1 through 4, and When They Cry 4, which is Umineko 5 through 8. And they're long. It's a very long visual novel. Incredibly good. This is my 46th stream reading this visual novel series. We're at the very, very end. We're at the end of episode 8, which is the last episode, and we probably have about Higurashi is organized roughly the same way. I figured as much. I figured When They Cry 1 and 2 was Higurashi. And so yeah, it is a visual novel, and it is extremely good. I highly recommend it. If you want to read it yourself, I think it's super worth it. If you don't want to read it yourself, you can go to my YouTube and watch all of it, because I have it all on my YouTube. But yeah, it's very, very good. I have to say, stories that have to do with dementia and Alzheimer's and just the general fact of, like, growing old and forgetting are some of the hardest hitting, saddest tragedies that can happen to humans. And I think that's where this is going, and I'm probably not going to be able to handle it. Because if this is Angie or Toya and they're just in their own little mind because their mind is deteriorating and they invented Rokunjima, and all their little, like, all the Yushiramiyas are just their little, like, stimuli and playthings, and, like, the only thing they have left in their head, I'm already tearing up just explaining that. So if that's what it is, I'm gonna lose it. Draconia seems pretty cool too. I might end up checking that out as well. The catalog from this author is incredibly good. First off, she was apparently the daughter of a very well-off family, just as she had said. However, she was considerably eccentric, and the various mischievous incidents she spoke of had apparently gotten her within an inch of being disowned. As a result, she had been given this house, and had been ordered to live here quietly and alone. She had never been a particularly social person, so she happily accepted this new state of affairs, living however she pleased with servants to take care of her. She had no friends. No one ever came to visit. When I wasn't around, she only ever talked to an old black cat she kept as a pet, named Bern. I'm gonna cry. Yeah, visual novels are super fun. I mean, that's just my enjoyment, because when I come home after a long day of work and I try to play, like, a fighting game, I just get so frustrated. So being able to just, like, read a visual novel and hang out with chat is sometimes the best. I don't know her real age. She doesn't seem to be too old to marry yet, but with an isolated life like this, she isn't likely to meet people. She sometimes says that she just hasn't met anyone worth the trouble, but I think she's already given up on marriage. Same. Her everyday life was very simple. She would either read through the many detective novels that were brought to her, or else write detective novels herself. Okay, so she's acting like Toya. At first, I thought she was some novelist at a private retreat, plugging away at a new book. However, the manuscript she just finished ended up clipped together in a pile. With me as the sole exception, it didn't look like she ever let anyone read them. A novelist is someone who writes novels for people to read, so I figured you could hardly call her a novelist when she kept writing novels no one would ever see. She wanted a reader. Ikuko, well, the person who looks like Ikuko, so just to keep things straight, I will probably continue to call her Toya. And I'm going to be referring to the narrator as Angie. I don't think that's necessarily right, but that's just how it makes sense in my head right now. Toya needed a reader. Ikuko-san, why don't you ever show these to anyone? I show them to you. Only the better ones, of course. Haven't you ever thought of sending one to some publishing company? It's a waste otherwise, when your works are so interesting. My works can't stand up against the pros. I sent one in once, but it was absolutely no good. I understand my position. This is just an amateur's pastime. I don't think amateur is a fitting word for someone who's so well versed in detective novels, from all times and across all worlds. Being a big eater doesn't mean you'll make a good cook. Also true. Reading every detective novel doesn't guarantee you're a good detective novelist. That's how it is. That's why this is nothing more than a pastime. Is it really fun to write novels that you won't show to anyone? It used to be. Once. What about now? Oh. Wait. Oh no. It used to be once. Before this person got sick. I like getting to hear your opinions. At any rate, I finished writing the chapter. I'll go make some tea. Would you mind reading it again and sharing your thoughts with me? Saying this with a smile, Ikuko thrust a pile of manuscript paper at me. I'm convinced that whether you read detective novels or write them, they're boring if you're all on your own. You can only find something really precious when you share that world with someone else. That's true. Headache. She sounds like Beto. Toya, are you okay? Oh, wait, never mind. I'll go get some headache medicine. I'm fine. I'm more interested in this manuscript. I can't wait for the new chapter. Headache medicine. So she definitely has some kind of like head trauma injury. This could be Angie with head trauma from jumping off the building and just can't remember anything. The seasons passed. Together with Ikuko in this town whose name I didn't even know, we spent our days debating detective novels and talking about ideas for new plots. At a glance, they may have appeared to be stale and unproductive days. However, Hachijo Toya found satisfaction with this new life. I'm definitely gonna cry, y'all. This is setting up for some punch-in-the-face reveal. And so, the curtain closes on the strange tale of Kurokubi Island. The end. With a dramatic flourish of her pen, Ikuko signified that her manuscript was now complete. I'd been thinking that this whole world of witches and stuff that we've been exposed to is all... What I thought it was... Oh no. What I thought... So, my interpretation, I've been thinking over the past couple days, Angie jumped off that building. We know this. Well, supposedly we know this. Angie jumped off that building. I thought this whole witch's game and all of these witch things was kind of like the equivalent of her life flashing before her eyes. Like having these last, like, your brain going, you know, super overtime as she's falling from the building and kind of like, you know, putting some closure into what she's doing. But that might not be the case. What do you think? I tried using your plot to make Sujiko's tragic love scene at the end a bit more moving. I think it's very good. I'd say the last farewell is sad enough to make it moving as a story, not just a reasoning puzzle. That's all thanks to your plot. Compared to this work, everything I've written before now is worth little more than scrap paper. Even as I was writing it, I was excited to be the first person in the world who got to read it. I've never felt that before. I just mentioned some ideas. You're the one who turned them into such a fascinating story, Ikuko-san. At some point, she wrote me in as well, and I too started my journey into the world of writing detective novels. Apparently, the old me had some talent for mysteries and detective novels and the like, and my talents seemed to be of a fairly unorthodox kind. I tried turning famous mysteries from across the world on their head, twisting these ideas into something new. However, a few ideas aren't enough to make a book. No meal is complete if all you can do is chop up vegetables. Thanks to Ikuko's writing, a skill she had built up over many years, my ideas were transformed into a work of fiction. In this work, The Strange Tale of Kurokubi Island, the two of us merged the best of our respective personalities. And though I hate to brag, it had turned into a masterpiece that we could show to anyone without shame. Hello? Please bring us some champagne. Bring a glass for yourself as well. This is the best job we've done so far, so let's celebrate. Ikuko called for some champagne over the internal phone line. Joined by the servant who happened to be working that day and the cat Burn, we raised our glasses high and toasted our accomplishment. Ikuko-san, I have an idea if you don't mind. Let's hear it. I love hearing your ideas. As long as I'm not in the shower or the can. Why don't we try submitting our book? I've never read anything this interesting before. I'm sure lots of other people will want to read it. You think so? I tried once in the past, thinking the same thing, but the result was... I believe in your talent, Ikuko-san. What about you? Well, of course, I believe in your talent. Then it's decided. To Ikuko-san's big debut. To Toya's big debut. We clinked our glasses once more, and on it went. Aww. This mansion looks a little like the Rokkenjima mansion. That might just be asset. Huh? We must have had way too much to drink. Before I knew it, I'd have passed out on the sofa. There was a blanket covering me. Ikuko-san must have put it there. The lights were out in the study, but it wasn't dark. The computer's monitor was glowing. Outside, it had started to rain. It reminded me of the day Ikuko-san found me and took me in. Because of that, whenever it rains, I find myself wondering who I was. And then I usually get headaches. So I wasn't sure whether the pain was because of the rain or because I drank too much. Ikuko-san, turn on the lights. Using a computer in the dark is bad for your eyes. Oh, did I wake you? No, I slept well. I feel refreshed now. I turned on the light and looked out through a gap in the curtains. As I thought, it was the sort of pouring rain that always reminded me of that day. It's raining pretty hard out there. The wind looks pretty strong, too. I hope the rain gutters don't get clogged with leaves again. I just cleaned them out the other day, so they should be fine for a while. Her answer sounded a little abstracted. Apparently, her attention was absorbed by the computer. You've been pretty hooked on that computer lately, Ikuko-san. Did you find an interesting article or something? It may be a bit juvenile, but it's still pretty interesting. It's about the Rokkenjima incident. Rokkenjima? I told you about the Rokkenjima mystery a few days ago, remember? It's been a real huge on the internet lately. The discussions, theories, and even the forgeries have been quite entertaining. Oh, listen to this track. Forgeries are stories, all based on the premise that yet another message bottle signed by Ushiromiya Maria existed and drifted to one of the nearby islands. Is this Maria? Is Toya Maria? Ikuko kept showing off her knowledge to the subject. However, a huge bell was clanging inside my head. The noise was so great that I thought my head would split open. Unable to tell what was the floor and what was the ceiling, I crumpled and clutched at my head. Toya, are you okay? My head hurts. The Rokkenjima explosion accident. The many disquieting rumors surrounding it. The scheming of the relatives who were after Ushiromiya Kinzo's vast wealth and hidden gold. And the truth? Ushiromiya Eva, the sole survivor, said nothing. Eventually, everything would be inherited by the granddaughter, Ushiromiya Angie, who escaped harm because she was absent on that day. Angie, Ushiromiya Angie. I am Ushiromiya... No good. My head's splitting open. Incomprehensible scenes pierce my eyelids from the inside like blades of light. Just what am I looking at? Who are these people calling to me? But not by the name Toya. Who am I? Who are these people? What is this memory? Help me, Ikuko. Someone else's memory is hurting me. My head's splitting. I could hear the sorrowful sound of wind, and that must be rain. Who was I again? I am Ushiromiya... Angie! Please say something! Voices. Voices are calling to me. Dad and Mom? It can't be. In 1986 on Rockinjima, Mom and Dad... Angie, hang in there. Can you hear Dad's voice? Please say something, Angie. Dad. Mom. I'll say it out loud. Dad, Mom. Angie. Angie, thank goodness. I could feel my body being lifted up firmly and hugged roughly. Mom and Dad were hugging me. My eyelids had been open for a while now. I could feel the light slowly returning to my eyes. Just like your eyes get used to the dark, my eyes got used to this light, and bit by bit, the scene around me came into view. However, it was an unusual sight which seemed to be very far away. My body was being hugged by Dad and Mom. Dad was sniffling, his face covered with tears. There were tears in Mom's eyes too, and she held me tight. It was so strong that it hurt a bit. They held me with all their strength. Me, the bad kid who wasn't obedient, who always had an excuse, and who always tried to do the opposite of what her parents said. They held me tight to make sure I didn't head down the wrong path. As my eyes adjusted, I could see other people besides my parents. Everyone was there. George, Jessica, Maria, my uncles and aunts. Even Sakutaro was there. And the witch, Virgilia, and Renove, and... Where? You were fortunate. By chance, we found you, drifting in the waves of the Sea of Emptiness. You were in a terrible state. It took quite some time to make you remember your true form. Beatrice. So this is... the Golden Land. Your whole family has been waiting here for you to return. We knew you would come home. Did I come home because I was supposed to? I've gone back to how I'm supposed to be, and now... No. You did come home. That's right. You made it back here because you wanted to come home to us. Dad. Mom. You don't need to say anything. You've been on a great and terrible journey, haven't you? A journey where you were all alone. You understand now, don't you? You won't forget again? I understand, Dad. This is a place you can always call home. I know. When I gave that answer, Dad and Mom hugged me again. Hot tears fell onto my face. They were Dad's and Mom's tears. I can tell by looking that you're far from all right. But I'm so glad. Glad that you came home. Aunt Eva, feel free to hate me as much as you want. Give your dad and mom a million kisses. Give a kiss to everyone who cared about you so much. Aunt Eva. And say, I'm home, to your other mother. Mom gave me a push from behind and I stumbled forwards. Towards my other mother. Eva. Mom. Angie. If only I'd called you Mom on that day. I might have never messed up. We might have been able to create a new world together. That's enough. You've come home. You don't need to say anything else. Mom. Mom. Welcome home, Angie. You're my adorable daughter. Mom. Always, and until the end, you were my closest friend. The two of them hugged each other quietly, burying their faces in the other's shoulders and sobbing. The truth wasn't worth anything at all. In the first place, the truth is always in the past. The point of the future isn't to learn what happened in the past. What really matters is whether I can truly live and prosper in the truth that is the now. If I truly live and prosper, that is the truth. That's the message right there. Back when I only ever tried to see the truth of the past, I was nothing more than a ghost trapped in the past. Hello, Sofa King Cool. Welcome. Since that time, I haven't lived a single day. Now I truly understand. This is what the real truth is. I will live, and I've remembered how much everyone loved me. Because I was young and selfish, I didn't even remember until now. The kind grandpa who always spoiled me. The entertaining aunts and uncles. All the kind and gentle servants. It was always warm. And yet, because I was young and cruel, I never tried to remember any of that. Everyone got distorted by my irresponsible imagination, and I completely forgot the truth. Now I can remember clearly and I understand. The Halloween quiz party certainly was an illusion. It never happened. However, didn't we do all kinds of fun things when the relatives gathered? Things that were no more or less fun than that party. And for the first time since the start of the game, I went up to each and every one of them to greet them, thank them, and apologize. To thank Grandpa for always pampering me. To thank my aunts and uncles. To thank the cousins for always playing with me even though I was so selfish. And I thanked and apologized to the illusions. I think I said something horrible to Sakutaro once, in the past. And to Maria too. Maria, you really were a witch, weren't you? I've always been a witch. You approached that level yourself once, didn't you? No. I never really understood. Pitiful Maria Oni-chan with her pitiful magic. That's all I ever thought of it. So, I couldn't pick up a fragment of happiness. I couldn't even find one. You told me that yourself once, One-chan. It can't be helped. It takes two to create a universe. I had Beto, but you were all alone. No. If I had called on Eva Mom, there would have been two of us. I'm sure I would have been able to create a new world with the same magic you used, Maria. All of it is my fault. The message bottles I threw away half-jokingly distorted your future and wore you down. I bear responsibility for that. Yeah, seriously. It's all because of your message bottles. Because of that, people started copying you and making forgeries, growing the story into something crazy. However, the message bottles thrown away by Beto did not name a specific person as the culprit. One of the forgers wrote a plausible forgery that had Ushiromiya Eva as the culprit, and that spread like wildfire. Even though I should have known better than anyone else that it was impossible, I accepted it in the end. Not your fault, Beto. No matter how many people around me had baseless suspicions, there should have been only one truth inside of me. And yet, so easily, I abandoned my warm memories of you all, and surrendered my heart to them. No. If I had not thrown away the message bottles, the future of Rokkenshima would have never become the center of such bizarre misconception. I bear responsibility for it all. True. That's right, it really is your fault, after all. Put that way, it's a little irritating. You do have your share of the blame as well. Yeah, you're right. You were at fault and so was I. Still, it would be stupid for us to attack each other. After all, I'm a witch of the future. You're a witch of the past. I should be using that magic to build my future. We both bear responsibility in some way. Neither of us has the right to blame the other. I knew you'd be able to understand Mirage Sorcière teachings, Angie. That's right. As the final member of Mariage Sorcière, my responsibility to pass on One-chan's magic. My magic can make everyone happy. Indeed, you have both pure magic and wicked magic at your fingertips. That's true. Magic can change completely depending on your heart. If you aren't properly guided, you can't use magic properly. And proper magic can bring people happiness. It is a wonderful thing. Bringing people happiness is the sole reason that witches wield magic. I am very pleased to know that those teachings have been passed down through the endless witches, all the way to the final witch. I never thought of it that way. Virgilia was Kumasawa, and Kumasawa's whole thing was about, you know, making light of situations, making people happy, making people chuckle, enjoying the little things. Sorry for failing to pass it down myself at all. Witch of the Future, Angie Beatrice, I will now retract your expulsion from Mariage Sorcière. Aww. I knew Angie would come back. Congratulations, Angie. I thought I knew the time we spent traveling together meant, and yet Sorry. I'm so sorry. Witches cannot create a universe unless there are two. In the future, you will be alone. Will you really be okay? Yeah. I'll be okay. I'm not alone anymore. I'll live with everyone, and I'll live in the future. I swear to keep living so that I can pass on the magic of Mariage Sorcière. Maria's magic has saved me too. There are a lot of people out there who need that magic. As the final witch of Mariage Sorcière, it's my duty to teach it the right way and save as many people as I can. Will you truly be able to do so? Of course. I have the power to do it. There's the golden magic that my predecessor, Eva Beatrice, spent so much time building. I've inherited all of that, right? Well, if only my health had held out a little longer. I was planning to spend all of it on myself. As Angie laughed, tears poured from her eyes again. Everyone surrounded Angie with their kind, warm smiles. Battler stood alone in the rose garden maze, letting the rain quietly fall on him. After searching for some time, Angie found him. Oni-chan. Angie, who was feeling guilty, sensed anger in her brother's expression. So she thought he was going to hit her. So she shut her eyes. However, her brother touched her softly. He patted her head gently. Hey. The truth wasn't anything important, was it? No, it wasn't. Even though you were here, waiting for me to come home in such a warm world. Ava was so cruel in my eyes, I can't believe how different my view of her is now. I know, right? Like, that's the masterpiece of this story, is from beginning to end, you learn so much about these characters. You learn the truth. Yeah. So any hopes you had of someone miraculously surviving and coming back have been crushed. However, you now have a new mission, a hope for living in the future. You kept that precious hope safe for me. I was the one who opened the box and let it get away. It turned out worse than Pandora's box. A truth I didn't need to know floated out of that box, along with all my hopes, leaving nothing inside but empty space. That's okay. It's open now, and that's that. If it's empty inside, that means it won't fester. After all, false hopes can sometimes bring you pain. Battler laughed heartily. Then with that same smile on his face, he told her, "We're already dead." Yeah. You've lived 12 years on the hope we might still be alive. Not anymore. That's over and done with. Yeah. I know. Starting now, I'll step forward into a new life. Beato put Rokkenjima in the cat box. The next witch, Aneva, guarded the lid of that box her whole life. You, the witch after her, opened that lid. But so what? Why does the truth of the past matter? Yeah. From now on, I'll truly live. And I'll make my own personal truth prosper. Good luck. Final Witch of Mariage Sorcière. I've read Maria's Grimoire. It's a great book, with some really good stuff written in it. Even the Bible needs a translator. So, Maria's Grimoire probably needs one too. You'll be that translator. You've got to teach kids who are in the position you once were. That's your mission, as the new Witch of the Future. Yeah. I'm gone, but I'll always be behind you, watching over you. I know. And not just you. Everyone else, too. All of us will love you forever. Don't forget that. I won't forget. Not ever. And that's for certain. Angie leapt into Battler's chest and sobbed. Humans are sad creatures who can learn, but cannot unlearn. He had already learned. It may have been a cruel, terrifying, merciless thing capable of destroying even the miracle called hope. However, there was still one tiny fragment left gripped into her hand. Her family's love. If she can just remember that and hold it tight, then surely Angie will live on. She'll be able to stop before taking a single step into nothingness. Also, the Rokonjima cat box hasn't been opened completely. You've just taken a peek at what's inside. So, you must be the lid yourself. And this time you'll protect everyone inside that cat box. Me and Dad and Kiri, the cousins and the uncles and the aunts, grandfather and the servants. All of the illusions, too. Yeah. This time I have to protect everyone. Then, shouldn't you hurry up a bit? The sound of popcorn being eaten rang out from beyond a rose bush. It was Lambda Delta. I think you know this already, but Bern is just about to hold a big party for the Book of the Single Truth. She's gathered beings from heaven and from hell, from the spirit world and the parallel worlds. If she announces what's in that book in a place like that, it'll all be too late, won't it? I'm going. I gave Bern Castell that key. It's my responsibility. I'll go and take it back. City of Books, huh? But there's no way for us to get in. There's a barrier around that place. They gave me this. With it, I can come and go as I please. What an idiot. She forgot to collect it when she threw me away. Angie fished through her pockets and there was a jingling sound. It was a bell with a blue ribbon tied to it. That's it. One of those temporary entry passes that you get when you turn in your invitation. As long as you have that, at least one of you will be able to get into the City of Books. Well, as long as someone takes you across the Sea of Fragments first. Lambda Delta, take me to the City of Books. Angie, it's my way of taking responsibility. I'll see to it that the Book of the Single Truth isn't made public. Are you serious? That place is a den of monsters among monsters. Now that you've lost Bern's protection, you'll be weaker than a fly. Squish. The end. The bell was snatched from Angie's hands. Lambda Delta, I'll go. I just need you to get me in there. After all, I'm an empty creature, unable to exist outside the cat box. Angie, on the other hand, must live on into the future. And you're a person with a future too. So I'll go. I have nothing to lose. No. This is my responsibility. My way of making up for what I did. If I don't do it myself, the future won't change at all, and I won't be able to save any future cat boxes. Angie tried to snatch the key from Battler's hand, but Battler had no intention of giving it up. The two of them were grimly serious, but from the sidelines, it looked like an ordinary squabble between two close siblings. Lambda Delta watched this conversation and shrugged. If she just took one of them to the City of Books, she wouldn't have to make any enemies, and there would be no risk to her. All she cared about was which one would make the story more interesting. Nothing else. But then, she finally noticed. Hold on. Hold on a sec, you two. Hold on. What's your problem? Hey, come on. Yeah, we're having an important sibling discussion here. Okay, first off, let go of each other's hands. Battler's holding the bell now, right? Jump. Jump, Battler. Jump? Like this? Jingle, jingle. You next, Angie. Try jumping. Why should I... Huh? Why? If Battler was holding the bell, where did that sound come from? Angie hurriedly searched through her pockets. When she did, another blue ribbon bell came out of a different pocket than the first one. These are the same, aren't they? No way. Why are there two? I was only given one of them. I don't know why. At any rate, you've got two bells that'll get you into the City of Books. Now, I don't have to sit here and watch the two of you play around with each other anymore. The pair of them gripped their bells and looked at each other. From the very beginning, this game had belonged to the both of you. There's just been a slight chance in who the opponent is. Slight change in who the opponent is. This isn't a competition between you two. It's a fight between Battler and Angie, who want to close the lid on the cat box. And Byrne, who wants it open. Angie has moved from Byrne's team to Battler's team. That's all there is to it. Lambda Delta, take us to the City of Books. Okay, I'm just taking you there though, got it? After that, I'm done being anything but a spectator. I just want to have the best seats, to see exactly how you fight, what you do, and how Byrne makes mincemeat out of all of you. Lambda Delta, thank you. Aw. Things are getting big. Okay, I'm gonna freaking lose it. My head always, this is how just my head operates. But all I'm thinking right now is they get into this battle, and in order to stop the Book of the Single Truth from opening and being exposed and spreading, Angie sacrifices all of the memories of the Ushiromiya family and wakes up as the person who was narrating at the beginning of that chapter. Yeah, that is in my head the, like, saddest possible thing. She finally makes up with her entire family. She makes peace with it. And then, in order to stop Byrne Castell, she sacrifices that which she just gained and essentially forgets them all again. Shannon and Kennen stood guard in front of the door to the Golden Land. They glare quietly and fearlessly at the eerie fleet of ships across the horizon. Shannon slowly lifted her hands. Kennen raised his right hand, and the red blade appeared there. Red blade? Stop right there. I forbid you to come any closer. If you do, I'll kill you. They could see a single dinghy leaving the fleet and approaching them. They couldn't tell if it was a messenger or the first wave. Shannon and Kennen watched it cautiously. At the head of that dinghy rowed by goats stood Erica. Where the heck did she get that thing from? Maybe she's trying to act the part of the fleet's leader. She was glaring at them and smiling aggressively with what appeared to be a pirate hat on her head. I've come to deliver our terms. There will be room for negotiation. Please, open the gate. Shannon and Kennen looked at each other. Erica was the one offering this deal. It wasn't likely to be anything agreeable. However, if they turned her away, the attack would probably begin at once. Since they were in a firmly inferior position, they wanted to buy time by any means they could. At Shannon's nod, Kennen erased his sword. Console sprites have the pirate hat on in the sprite? Wait. That's sick. The Golden Land was filled with hard downpour accompanied by the occasional thunder. Erica, who realized that this weather spoke for their emotions, smiled even more boldly. At the center of the Golden Land was the arbor surrounded by the Golden Rose Garden. A large number of humans and illusions were there, arguing about something. Looks like the new sprites you have might also have. I was going to check that, if the console sprites have it. I want to see Erica in a pirate hat. Even without asking, it was easy to guess the nature of the debate by their anguished expressions. After all, in this life-or-death situation, they didn't have many options they could take. In the direction Erica was being led, Beato stood waiting, accompanied by the Chester sister corpse. When Erica, accompanied by her goat guards, saw Beato, she gave a bow that only appeared graceful. Beato followed suit and gave a graceful bow of the sort that was rarely seen from her. I am Beatrice, master of the Golden Land and the Endless and Golden Witch. Announce yourself. As though implying that she was more than happy to go through with this farce, Beato introduced herself boldly and requested that Erica do the same. Oh, she's got a pirate hat on. We have been dispatched from the Great Witch of theater-going drama and spectating noble city of carefully selected books. I am the Witch of Truth, the commander of the library fleet, which is committed to bestowing honor and protection to books. My name is Furudo Erika. It is a pleasure to make your acquaintance. Yeah, for real. Shall we get down to business then? You ought to celebrate. We of the library fleet decided to offering honor and protection to books have come to bring good news to you all. First, I would like to announce that, after careful selection, the City of Books has acknowledged and accepted the game board created by the Endless Wish Beatrice as a great and honorable book. Oh, that is indeed a great honor. The game board is profoundly entertaining and originally a masterpiece, worthy of close study. It deserves to be released for all of our subjects to read. And so, the City of Books has ordered us to grant eternal honor and protection to that game board. This is all quite long and boring. Get to the point. We demand that you hand the entirety of this game board over to the Honorable City of Books. Doing so will give the board and its pieces the greatest honor and protection imaginable. And if we refuse, you will be prosecuted for the crime of monopolizing a great cultural artifact that ought to be shared among all of our subjects. We are here to notify you of the impending assault, one which will be waged by us to protect the benefits that are the rightful property of all subjects, not yours alone. Are you not concerned that the shared property of all subjects might be destroyed in this assault of yours? According to the Great Library Protective Regulations, when a criminal guilty of monopolization of a cultural artifact raises that objection as you have now done, the Executive Fleet may prioritize arrest over its protective duties, as long as they obtain permission from the Great Court. Of course, we have already obtained the Great Court's written authorization. I imagine the word arrest is closely followed by dead or alive, am I right? My. I'm impressed that you can read those tiny letters. Now, enough fooling around. Let's hear your answer. What do we have to gain by accepting your conditions? Both of us will be saved a troublesome task. Furthermore, your brave and noble acts will be recorded as a glorious final chapter in the City of Books. You do understand, right? You have no chance of winning. This isn't even a fight. It's just you, sitting there at the bottom of a well while people throw rocks at you. So you claim that I have the power to choose nothing except how the library witches will record my final moments? The rest depends on you. If you treasure this game board, you ought to surrender. The pieces will be treasured by our many loyal subjects for all time and will be able to continue their roles into eternity. In other words, the tragedies I created at will shall repeat forevermore. How is that any different from what you've been doing so far? It's not. Is there anything else? If not, allow me to give you my answer. Go ahead. Erica tensed slightly. After all, this was the great Lady Beatrice she was dealing with. You might shout, "Here's my answer," dramatically and do something crazy. She's totally going to do that. They say a cornered rat is most likely to bite a cat. Furthermore, Erica had intel telling her that the great Lady Lambda Delta, Witch of the Senate, had been spending her time inside the Golden Land, though only as a theater-goer. Erica needed to carry out this noble task that her master had assigned her, had to carry it out perfectly. If she was honest, she wanted to make Beto raise a white flag, even by trickery if necessary. So, even though this was a farce, she held back from giving any unneeded provocation. She gulped and tried to size Beto up. Then, with a pathetic expression on her face, Beto let out a sigh. I'll be honest. The truth is, I am tired. What do you mean? My game had already achieved its purpose when my fight with Battler ended, and yet, for various reasons, the game has repeated several more times since then. To be perfectly honest, I'm tired of it. To be honest, that isn't the answer I was expecting at all. So, you want to surrender? Really? Simply put, I don't care either way. It doesn't matter whether I surrender or whether we're vanquished by you. I simply wish to have the curtain closed on this game board and tail, regardless of who does the deed. Of course, that was a lie. She knew she couldn't win even if she fought. For now, their best option was to play for time. They would fix Erica's attention to this spot, and during that time, Battler and the others would steal the key from Bern Castell while she was completely off her guard. Once they had the key, they would return to the Golden Land, use the key to let Angie open the door to the future, and see her off. This was their goal line. Everything that happened after that would be inside the cat box. Angie would live into the future, with hope. No one would know whether Beto and the others were alive or dead. That was enough. The only strategy Beto and the others could use to achieve this was to buy time. If you do surrender, it may be a bit of an anticlimax, but it will save me a lot of trouble. But well, it's not quite so simple. You see, and this is just between you and me. As you may know, the Great Lady Lambda Delta is staying here. She is, pushing us to show her a dramatic climax. That's a pretty cruel whim to force on someone. How are a few wimpy people in what's basically an already solved puzzle supposed to fight against our fleet? With its hundreds and thousands of troops. Very true, very true. The gap in strength is overwhelming. We told her that it wouldn't even be a fight, but... well, Lady Lambda Delta didn't listen. And she has said she would bring some of her friends to support us. So we should fight with everything we had. Lady Lambda Delta has friends? Unlike Baron Castell, who kept to herself, Lambda Delta did have many friends. Her friends and patrons were either territory lords of great influence who came from all over the place, or else monsters that had become legends in their own lifetimes. In all seriousness, her so-called fan club had enough size and influence that it could have suddenly declared itself a separate country in the Sea of Fragments without anyone being overly surprised. She's so cool. This is quite a problem for us. With Lady Lambda Delta all ready for action, without any regard for us, she keeps calling up friends and acquaintances on the phone from all over the place, telling them to come over. Of course, this was also a lie. Lambda Delta had turned into a small candy comet and was now shooting towards the City of Books, with Battler and Angie in tow. So, to make sure that Lambda Delta and Battler's absences were not noticed, everyone was crowded around the arbor, pretending to argue furiously with each other. Battler, give us your decision. We, the Seven Sisters of Purgatory, are prepared for death at any time. I firmly oppose taking a last stand that would lead to our deaths. What could possibly be gained by dying? How can you be such a coward? It is inconceivable that we should live in such shame as prisoners. There are times where the mere fact of being alive gives us opportunities. Indeed, indeed. A short temper makes a bad leader. Battler? If you call yourself a man, now's the time to act like one. The Great Lambda Delta is even willing to help out, right? I agree. These are the times when a man has to make a tough decision. In many cases, the timing of a decision is more valuable than the decision itself. If we surrender, they might not be violent. You can't be serious. Weren't you supposed to be a male lion? Where are your fangs now? If death awaits us regardless, I would rather die as a wolf than a pig. Are you stupid? Are you saying you want to die like a dog? It all depends on the strength of the support that Lambda Delta can provide. Lambda Delta, are your friends really strong enough to win against them? It's a bet. We'll either surrender and die, or we'll lose a bet and die. Interesting. In that case, our chances for survival will be higher if we take the bet. An honorable surrender will surely cause the Great Court to show mercy. They're backed by the Senate, aren't they? Sure, they'll hem and haw, but we'll also see the guillotine in the end. Anyway, let's all just calm down. Cool your heads. I'm opposed to letting our emotions control us. Why don't you calm down first? We have another possible strategy. Mutually assured destruction. We might not be able to win, but if we can convince them that we plan on taking enough of them with us, that might force their opponents to show restraint. He's such a Redditor. Basically, if they're determined to attack, we'll let them know we aren't going down without doing some serious damage first. All of Lambda Delta's friends are incredible. She knows lots and lots of witches, beasts, demons, and gods. All of which have really, really huge legends and histories. Even though ships outnumbers the stars in the sky, Lambda Delta's friends could wipe them out with a single blast. Is this a billion lions versus the sun type argument? Will this really work? She hasn't seen through our act yet, has she? It is working. You must speak more forcefully as well. Do not worry about politeness. Enough, you gutless swine. Do you lack the backbone to finish with a bang? Hold on now. Don't forget that some of us are opposed to fighting. I think we should surrender. He's so sick. I love Kinzo. Master, it's just an act. Well, looks like the debate has gotten quite heated. So, will we surrender? Or will we fight back? Which will it be? Oh my god. They're so annoying. Personally speaking, I would like to surrender. If my role will end either way, I would prefer that my game board be preserved the way I made it. I could not bear to have Lady Lambda Delta continue to use it however she pleases. We don't want that either. I came here to fight you, but I'm no match for Lady Lambda Delta's friends. Secretly, Erika was getting worried by these complicated developments, and she was relieved that she hadn't pushed too hard earlier on. She wanted to flatter Beto and end this with a bloodless takeover. Even the great Lady Lambda Delta probably wouldn't seriously think of picking a fight with the Senate. Her motive was probably something much more trivial, a simple desire to watch the game board's final fireworks from a front row seat. However, if she really did have some fireworks on her own prepared, it was at least possible that this could turn into a ruckus that Erika would have no chance of quelling. Beto saw all of this going on in Erika's mind, so she continued to act with an even more pathetic expression on her face. Even among witches, her acting ability was top-notch. Might you be willing to lend us some of your strength, so that my game board's beauty will be preserved? Truly, it was a great error to invite that busybody as a guest. I understand. I'd like to end this quietly too, if I can. So, how can we work together? For some time now, we've been arguing over whether we should surrender or resist. I intend to return to them and propose that we surrender and ask Lady Lambda Delta not to do anything that might damage the game board. That would please me very much. So what should I do? I would like you to guarantee that we have the necessary time to debate on that matter. After all, your ships are surrounding and pressuring us at this moment. Hello, Kai. Everyone is so tense at the thought that we may be attacked, and at any time they're falling apart. So, if they guarantee that we will have enough time to discuss this among ourselves, everyone will surely be able to keep their composure during that time. Furthermore, I will have enough time to convince Lady Lambda Delta. Very well. About how long do you need? Would you be gracious and avoid giving a specific time limit? If a time limit is imposed, everyone will just fall apart again as the limit nears, possibly leading to a more radical decision. You have a point. The most important thing about a fuse is whether it's lit or not. The length of the fuse is trivial. In that case, will you give us the time we need? Understood. I guarantee that you'll have time to discuss it. However, that time won't be unlimited. I'll wait here and listen in on your discussion. Oh, thank you. That's very kind. Well, as far as that goes, it is true that your mere presence here has everyone on edge. I've already made my concessions. Isn't it your turn now? They were some distance away from the arbor, but it was just close enough to give a general idea of what was going on. It was far enough that they just might be able to hide the fact that Battler and Lambda Delta were missing. Just far enough for them to convincingly act like this was a white-hot argument in gridlock. If it were possible, they would rather have kept Erika at an even greater distance. They had planned to set up a seat of honor for their guest at one of the far corners of the garden maze. Is there some sort of problem? Okay. Don't make such a scary face. In that case, please wait here. This is a confidential conference, so you must come no closer than this line. Beto drew a line in the ground with her foot. Help them see me in a good light. If that's clear that I've obtained a generous agreement from you, that will be a powerful weapon in my hands in this debate. Could I get a chair? Yes, of course. Chester troops, bring Lady Erika a chair and umbrella at once. And a hand towel, too. I'll wipe it nice and clean for you. She's playing into Erika's vanity as well, yeah. Bluffing, and Erika is very vain. She's very self-important in this role that she's been given from Brent Castell. You're also amazing. Oh, thank you. That's very flattering, but I don't know about that. Milady, have there been any developments in our negotiations? If anything's certain, it's that I'll be winning this year's prize for Best Actress. That's Beatrice for you. All we can do is argue fiercely, squabble amongst ourselves, and make it look like things will turn for the worse if negotiations break down. Indeed. Is this yet another fight to support Battler's group? Get yourselves ready, everyone. Let us argue and insult with all we have. Got it? Yes, master. The sight of Goda, his cheek red and swollen from being pinched, made everyone snort. But they quickly covered their mouths and put fingers on their lips. Then everyone nodded at each other, and the fake argument resumed. Erica was sitting in a chair that the Chiester sisters had brought her, filling a goat in on the details of their discussions. The goats would probably return and tell the rest of the fleet. The fleet would tell Baron Castell. And Baron Castell might think of some plan to deal with the situation, or give new orders. The conversation with the goat ended, and it spun around. It would return to the dinghy and report it to the fleet. It slipped out from a rose bush and passed through the garden maze, heading toward the door that led outside. Is it really okay to let that goat reach the boats? If it goes back, Erica's report will reach Baron Castell's ears. Cannon's waiting for it, so maybe Cannon kills it. The Chester sisters spoke up through a secret channel that only they could use. 2 seconds, Nya. Won't even be a sound. Just about to leave Erica's sphere of awareness. Estimated 10 seconds before it reaches the goat boatman's sphere, so assassination can be carried out successfully. Lady Beatrice, your permission to assassinate, if you please. We can do it. Erica will sense nothing. You do not have permission. You think an envoy would leave their ship without setting a time limit? The fleet probably has orders to attack if it isn't contacted within a certain period of time. Let that goat go. Understood. The goats passed through the door. Then, after receiving a silent bow from Shannon and Cannon, got on the dinghy and returned to the fleet. The fleet would probably follow Erica's orders and stand by until an attack of order was given. That gave the rest of the Golden Land a chance to assassinate Erica. But of course, that wasn't going to be possible, practically speaking. She was Baron Castell's greatest underling, and a witch who controlled truth. Tricking her was all they could hope for. Anything else would be overconfident. Why don't you all have a seat, too? You need no worries about us. Without any hint that she had just been talking about assassinations, 00 stood upright with her hands clasped behind her back. Surrender, or resist until the end. The false argument resumed. Just how far and how long would they be able to trick Erica? Yes, the final fight for the Golden Land had already begun. Battler, you can count on us to handle things here. It's time for you and Angie to take this final game back. Alright, I'm going to take a 2-minute break now that we're in the library. I didn't take one at the end of the last chapter. I'm going to take a break now that we're in the library, so I'll be back in 2 minutes. is one freakishly huge library. I've heard each one of these books has a tale like ours inside of it. After all, this is a world of gods. You can tell at a glance that this is no place for scum like you to be in, right? After passing through the barrier, the three of them had finally made it inside the City of Books. Sometime, they were both overcome by the countless otherworldly sights before them, but they quickly remembered their original objective. Are you listening? First off, don't get the wrong idea. You two came here to fight Baron Castell, but that doesn't mean walking up to her and attacking her directly, okay? We know. In the first place, you were only able to fight the Great Beatrice on an even footing because the game board protected you with rules that made it that way. You leave the game board, you're more like something that'll leave a small stain on her palm when she swats you. Don't forget that, got it? Makes sense. This isn't the game board we're familiar with. We didn't come here to fight. We came here to take something back with us. Exactly. You're here to prevent the Book of Single Truth from being exposed to the public. That's the only goal, your only fight. You'd better not be confused about that. Battler and Angie nodded to show their understanding. The Book of the Single Truth itself is being displayed openly in the middle of the party, so stealing it'll be impossible. However, bringing in the key is going to be a big part of that ceremony, which means the key must be stored in a different place. But there's no guarantee it'll be undefended. After that, it's up to your luck. I hope it's good, for your sakes. Hide! Lambda Delta pulled her head from around the corner of a bookshelf. The others hurriedly followed suit. In the distance, they saw emerald green lights floating about and leaving trails. These are Byrne's cat familiars. She's got them patrolling all over the place today. Did she guess that we might come? No. Don't forget how huge this place is. Those are staff cats, out looking for idiot guests who have gotten lost so they can be taken to the lost children area. And that's not where we want to go at this moment. It looks like one's about to find us. Do we take them out? I would advise against it. Maybe if this were some other territory or game board. But this is Baron's home base. That single cat could make you as scared as being surrounded by a crowd of vicious beasts. Plus, they're cats. They've got good senses, and they'll call for friends. If they spot you, you'd better be prepared for what happens next. I'm not going to save you. Just getting you here has been troublesome enough. If I surrender, I might get off the hook with being stripped naked and thrown into the worst sort of crappy fragment for just a century. How wonderful. I think I can sympathize with Byrne's feelings a bit now. Lambda Delta was not laughing. Most likely, even this punishment she spoke of was pretty optimistic. Even though she keeps saying that she won't help anymore, she's already risking everything. Why? Isn't it obvious? Lambda Delta brushed her hair back and grinned. It's because you're going to show me the perfect happy ending. Lambda Delta hugged their heads at the same time, making their foreheads bunk together. You'd better show me. For certain. Yeah. We'll certainly show you a happy ending. We'll certainly take this cat box back. Let's go. This way. And swim quietly. The three of them swam out into the darkness of the deep ocean trench that was the City of Books. In that massive, vast trench of bookshelves, they vanished into the darkness almost immediately. Banger. The library defied the common sense of the human world. The City of Books. The word city was no exaggeration, and it was filled with green glowing eyes of Baron Castell's countless cat familiars. Trying to count them would be almost as crazy as counting all the fish in the ocean. They formed schools that swam all over the place. On the lookout for any fools who might have miraculously managed to slip out and disturb their master's party. If Battler's group was found, the cats would report it instantly. They would probably form a pack, open their large mouths, and swallow them in a single gulp. There would be no fight. In this place, Battler's party would be swallowed like tiny fishes if they were discovered. This song is sick. The warships surrounding the Golden Land were well more than 100 strong. Each of them had dozens of cannons pointing at the door to the Golden Land. The goats that packed the decks of the ships numbered in the tens of thousands. Each one of them carried enough anti-magic toxin in their fangs to completely deny a game board's peace. This time, they would chew apart and eat away everything. The crowd of goats unleashed their rotten breath and dangling drool. At that time, Erica, who wanted to avoid trouble and hoped Beto would be able to convince Lambda Delta to surrender peacefully, was sitting alone, calmly enjoying the tea Renove had poured for her. Of course, even Erica wasn't planning to give them unlimited time. In her mind, she had already decided to allow them 3 yawns before stepping in. This actually isn't so bad. Getting to watch Beto try and convince everyone as they called her a coward and a loser. Indeed, it is impressive that our short-tempered mistress has managed to become such an adult. What's so funny? Oh, pardon me. Are you ready for another cup? Please feel free to enjoy our collection of great teas from across the globe at your leisure. Lambda is leading Beto's side in an all-out resistance? And she's gathering her friends? Is that a joke? The messenger cat shook its head, then continued to dispassionately meow its report. Even Lambda isn't that stupid. She should know what it means to have Awao as her enemy. Even as she said this, Bernquista was chewing away at her thumbnail. Despite how she looks, that kid has a lot of strong friends, and they're all idly curious, crazy monsters. Even so, to take up arms against the Senate? It was possible. She could think of many monsters among Lambda Delta's friends who would love to see a losing side gain support and make a comeback victory. Before she realized it, the finger Bernquista was biting was covered with sweat. All the cats. She could do it. She really is a moron sometimes, after all. Give me a phone, quickly. The cat leapt away and flew back with a phone and receiver. I'm gonna call up her friends. I have to warn them not to get involved in this stupid game. Phone number... Why don't I have any phone numbers saved in here? Oh, right. I have no friends. How are you supposed to greet people over the phone? Does Moshi Moshi work? Meow. He's talking to her cats. Freaking out. The golden key was being kept in a room inside the City of Books. However, perhaps room wasn't a fitting word to use. It was large enough that you could probably fit 2 domed baseball stadiums in it, if you tried. Even so, in this city, these were called rooms. Floating in the center of this vast room were several sacred magic circles. Wrapped around these magic circles was Angie's golden key. Surrounding these were countless emerald green stars, which looked like slowly revolving planetarium. The eyes that numbered the same as the stars were all glaring in the same direction. So sick. Such a sick visual. Come now, don't look at me like that. I'm on your side, did you forget? One of the cats cat-paddled towards Ava, meowing that nobody was allowed to enter this room. Lady Bernquista has ordered me to guard that key, so why don't you leave this to me and get lost? After looking at each other with suspicious eyes, the cats glared at Ava again, as though saying that they hadn't heard of any such order. By the way, cats have pretty soft bodies, don't they? Makes them much easier to chew. Ava lifted up her golden staff. Ava lifted up her golden staff, and the floor and ceiling of the vast rooms were covered with red lines. The reaction from the cats was lightning fast. They realized instantly that this was hostile behavior. The entire emerald green constellation writhed and became a single massive deep-sea fish, which charged at Ava with its cavernous mouth open wide. However, at the same time, the red lines on the floor and ceiling, the massive spider web, pinched itself together and crushed the fish, twisted it, spun it around and around, and compressed it to the size of a small ball. Ava's really strong. And she's still supporting Angie even now. She did care. Then that ball-shaped thing burst open, leaving nothing left. It all happened in an instant. If only you'd just give up and die. Thank you, Aunt Ava. The witch hunters were all holding a convention at the event hall. After all, when Ushiromiya Ava's diary was opened, the endless cat box would be lost, along with the countless imagined stories that had entertained them for so long. This final convention was for them to air their best theories one last time. While the opening of the cat box did give them a slightly lonely feeling, if they couldn't contain their excitement as intellectual... Yeah. I guess they're all intellectual predators. Not when they knew that the Rokkenjima mystery was finally going to be solved once and for all. If that box were opened, a single girl would be hurt. However, their jaws and fangs couldn't care less. Yeah, I can't stand that term. It's obviously dated and, like, less... I mean, it's not any less disgusting. It's a very, like, well-framed term in how, like, grotesque it is and kind of what it refers to. But yeah, it's just so, like, icky. The witch-hunting goat nobles kept licking their lips, wanting to chew apart the guts of Beatrice's cat box as soon as they could. This song is really good. It's like perfect for a climax. Seated upon the solemn throne so tall it looked like a pillar, Featherine listened in on the nonsense being spewed by the mouth of the goat nobles. A black cat wearing a cape silently appeared and whispered something into Featherine's ears. No, that's fine. Everything is going according to my plot. You need not inform my Miko. The cat bowed humbly and vanished. Featherine raised her wine glass high and laughed as she looked through it to the light of the chandelier, which was as beautiful and majestic as the moon. This should be enough to thank you for your excellent reading. Wait, Featherine's helping too? This should be enough to thank you for your excellent reading, child of man. Well now, just who is weaving this tale? Man, this parallels more likely that... Man, am I for you, or are you for me? What do you think? A trap? As Battler's group moved forward, darting from bookshelf to bookshelf and avoiding the eyes of the cats, they found something strange. Written with a faintly glowing red substance was a letter and an arrow. K. That's what it looked like to them. You think K means key? Those marks only appeared when we got close. This is a message aimed at us. Is there anyone here besides us who'd be willing to help? I didn't think we had any allies. Angie traced the red arrow with her finger. It was written with very faint, thin strings that had been tied together. The red stuff, which stuck to your finger and tore away like cotton candy, had to be... There is someone on our side. Someone who's... Aww. Someone who's always been on my side. How can you be so sure? Yeah, I understand. Lambda, we can trust this person who wrote this. She'll probably be able to guide us to the key safely. Are you sure? Then let's go. We don't have time to be standing around. Thank you. Aww. My heart. In the arbor, the argument over whether they should surrender or fight continued without signs of stopping. These clowns out here yapping. Every now and then a small fight would break out, which fortunately ended up delaying Erika's third yawn. However, they didn't know how long they would have to continue this fake fight. Keeping this high level of tension going was physically stressful. The instant they tired out and the tension faded, Erika would probably demand a verdict. They had constantly appeared to be trapped and agitated. It was a battle of weariness and tension. This was their fight. Erika waited patiently. Now that she had tired of tea, she was watching Renove perform some magic tricks. She seemed to be enjoying herself considerably. Even Renove, who was usually aloof from the world, was fighting. If Erika got bored and had a tantrum, an all-out attack would probably begin at once. He was also putting his life on the line to fight to buy time for Battler's group. As the fiercest leader in the argument, Beto wore out the quickest. She breathed heavily, and her face was so pale, it seemed she might faint at any moment. Beto, hang in there. Your body won't hold out much longer at this rate. Pretend to suddenly burst into tears and rest for a while. We'll pick up the slack. I am still fine. I can do this. Just one more push. Let's go. So who's next? Who wants to be beaten down first? In that case, I Goda am prepared. Goad? We must fight. It would be outrageous to accept defeat without fighting. As I've said from the beginning, fighting with all we have is the only option. Hold on a second. Erika suddenly rose from her chair. Renove tried to coax her back into her seat, but Erika's attention was completely focused on those arguing under the arbor. I am the detective. My memory of what I hear is as good as a recording. Are they just repeating themselves? We are aware of that, of course. You are quite an excellent detective, after all. I'm not interested in you. Goda? I have one question for you. Huh? Yes, madam. Have I done something to cause offense? Hold on. Don't forget that some of us are opposed to fighting. I think we should surrender. Those were the first words I heard from you when I arrived here. Oh no. However, you just said this. We must fight. It would be outrageous to accept defeat without fighting. As I've said from the beginning, fighting with all we have is the only option. That's what you said. Did I say that? It's hardly strange for an opinion to change in the course of a discussion. Indeed. All of us have been feeling doubts about our position lately, so an occasional change of opinion wouldn't be... No. From beginning to end, no one has changed their opinion in this argument. Just now, Goda alone flipped his position 180 degrees. Furthermore, I can't imagine that any of the statements made by the rest of you were sufficient to make Goda switch his position. Goda messed up. An uncomfortable, moist wind blew by. Everyone was silent, frozen as though time had stopped. In that silence, Erika continued with a blank expression. This could lead us to two conclusions. Firstly, it may mean that Goda has no opinion, and is just a loser who will say anything that goes with the flow. I do think that is correct. Second, it may be that none of you had an opinion, and that this entire argument exists just for its own sake. Aren't you overthinking this a bit? Here we are, in desperate debate that will decide our fate. I hardly think it's strange that some people would act abnormally under such pressure. The only reason for prolonging a meaningless argument is to buy time. Do you have anything to gain by buying time? Is it because Lady Lambda Delta's reinforcements are coming? That can't be true either. After all, for some time now, I have heard all of you speak to Lady Lambda Delta and Battler occasionally, but not once have I heard them reply. Taking all of this into account, we are left with only one conclusion. That Lady Lambda Delta and Battler are not here now. And that these people have won Lady Lambda Delta's assistance, with Lady Lambda and Delta and Battler probably planning to sneak into the City of Books. In which case, their goal is probably to steal back the key, and Angie. And your plan was to act as bait and buy time until their mission was complete. But because of Goda's single, poorly chosen line, this level of reasoning is possible for Furuto Erika. What do you think, everyone? With a blank yet ruthless expression, Erika spoke these words and returned to her seat. Everyone else was frozen, unable to move. No one spoke. However, time was moving. As evidence, a bead of sweat dripped down someone's cheek, fell, and hit the table with a tiny yet audible splat. Oh, they're going in! Then, frozen time shattered, and in the same instant, the white chair Erika had been sitting in broke apart. The stakes of the Seven Sisters of Purgatory and the high-velocity rounds from the Chester Sister corpse hit the chair at exactly the same time. And a few moments after that, Erika sitting in that chair faded and vanished. After Image! She's fast! Kill her! In an instant, Erica had moved to a spot behind the chair. Her expression remained as blank as it had been before. However, there was now something in her hand that hadn't been there before. Oh, her scythe. As the 7 lightning strikes of the 7 sisters raced at her once more, she batted them all away with her scythe. Does she have her scythe? Aw, that would have been cool. That was one hell of a farce. But the tea was good. Thanks for the meal. Well now, it seems you've all been in agreement since the start. Allow me to ask for your answer once again. She does in the console sprites. Damn. So good. Erica lifted her I'm glad I used original sprites the whole time though, but the console sprites sound sick. Erica lifted her left hand, the one that wasn't holding a scythe. Very well. Allow me to answer. This golden land belongs to me. To all of us. If you enter with your shoes on, we'll give you a proper welcome. In other words, to put it elegantly, all cannons, prepare to fire. Target, the golden land. Their battle's on. Oh man, the music's peaking too. Yes, thank you. See you around. Meow. She says meow instead of goodbye. I'm dying. Vern Castell set down the receiver and crossed out yet another name on a list of Lambda Delta's notable friends. Something was wrong. Not a single person she called had heard anything from Lambda Delta. They weren't just playing dumb either. They really knew nothing about the strange ruckus Lambda Delta was trying to stir up. Even Vern Castell was starting to suspect that something was fishy. Then a black cat leapt in and meowed a frantic report. Lambda and Valor aren't in the Golden Land? Ha! Aha! She tore the phone receiver from its stand. The number she dialed was short. It was probably an internal line. However, after listening to it ring several times, he slammed the receiver down again, finally managing to break the phone. Gather all the cats who aren't busy. This is an emergency. The cats I had guarding the key aren't responding. Vern Castell, overwhelmed with emotion, kicked the table over. Then the room finally grew bright. It was like green sunlight. A bright green light waved about, giving the illusion that a green sun was rising and lighting the room up. It was a sign that Baron Castell's army had been given an emergency summon. Come, my kitties. It's time for a witch hunt. That kid always smells like candy, so you'll find her pretty fast. The first cat who finds her gets her human form and a witch's title. It was now an emerald green nebula that let out a roar of delight that shook the bookshelf cliff. Something's chasing us. What's that? A green sun? Hide! They know. The three of them frantically hid behind a bookshelf. The room with the key in it was straight ahead. They could see something glinting faintly in the darkness of that room. It was a glint different from anything else they had seen so far in this city. The color of the glint was gold. They had almost reached the golden key. However, if they went towards it, Baron Castell would be right behind them, along with her vast swarm of familiars. In other words, they were trapped in a dead end. They already knew that the emerald green color came from the eyes of the familiars. However, it was almost beyond comprehension that this undulating green sun could be the same thing. And they could do nothing except stare in wide-eyed shock. The countless cats were passing through a ravine of bookshelves, from the very top to the very bottom. They approached. As they approached, they painstakingly checked the gaps between each book. However, even this mind-numbingly huge task was accomplished swiftly, thanks to the sheer number of familiars. With the speed of a gust of wind, they carefully checked every nook and cranny. There was no way to hide from this green sun. That would have been as foolish as trying to hide from water on a sinking ship. Will we be able to hide until they pass us? No. At this rate, we'll be found no matter where we go. Battler was just about to leap out from the shadows, but Lambda Delta grabbed him by the collar an instant before. Are you thinking of fighting? No. but we'll be found if we just stand here. So we have to move forward. We need to reach the key as soon as possible. You really think there won't be cats guarding that key? We'd just be pinched between them. I believe in Aneva. She's the one who guided us this far. I'm sure she took care of that the guard cats too. I agree. If we're gonna be found anyway, let's try to get there as fast as possible and grab the key. If we can just do that, no one will be able to open the book. So you'll rush in there and grab the key? Then what? That place is a dead end, right? You realize there'll be nowhere to run, don't you? We know that, but the key will be our trump card. It's vitally important to burn Castell too. If worse comes to worse, we might be able to use the key as a bargaining chip. Bargain with Burn? You're insane. But if we hide here, we'll definitely be found. In that case, I'll take a bet on 1,000,000,000 chance. We'll get that key and have that be our trump card. So you're praying for a miracle to win against the Witch of Miracles? Picking a winner out of an astronomically bad odds. That's the Ushiromiya family magic. True. It's true. I've got good eyesight, so let me enlighten you. Can you see those magic circles around the golden key? That's a simple barrier, but pretty strong. It'll break if you just touch it, but it's the sort of annoying seal that'll take exactly 1 hour to fade, whether a great witch or a lowly human does it. It's still over an hour before the ceremony begins. In other words, we won't ever be able to touch the key unless we can buy time for a whole hour. When Aneva took out the guard cat, she must have broken the magic circle too. It probably won't take an hour. As far as I can see, the magic circle is still intact. Sorry to say, but even if Ava did touch it, it was less than an hour ago. Well, what's an hour? At least we know we can grab it if we manage to stick around that long. Yeah. Sure. Let's play tag for an hour. I'm used to getting chased around by thugs. You two really are out of your minds. You're really planning to play tag against Brent Castell and all her cats. If there's even a 1% chance, you can be certain that we'll grab it. The difference in enthusiasm between the siblings who had everything to lose and Lambda Delta was immense. However, Lambda Delta was no coward. She was a great witch of the Senate. If she surrendered, she wouldn't be able to escape severe punishment, but she would be forgiven after a few hundred years. Why would she, after being thrown in a stormy sea while clutching a buoy that could save only her, decide to throw that buoy away? No living person could be as determined as those siblings who were already fighting for their lives. No one could blame Lambda. You two really are stupid, you know that? Ah well. Why don't I tell you about a plan that's got a bit more than a 1% chance of working? How does that sound? The two siblings looked at each other. However, they both thought that any plan would be worth listening to, even if it would only raise their odds by 0.00001%. A sacrifice. Baron is a cat. She'll chase fleeing prey, but she'll also kill prey that doesn't flee, and only after toying with it first. Cats are terrible. Still, if that's true, it'll be worth betting on. Let's have one sacrifice. We'll decide with rock, paper, scissors. Whoever loses has to go taunt Burn, then get laughed at and killed, all to buy as much time as possible. Does that work for you? No need for rock, paper, scissors. I'll do it. You two go on to the key room. No way, Oni-chan. I'll do it. This is all my responsibility. I was the one who listened to Burn Castell and trusted her, so I've got a thing or two to say to her. Both Battler and Angie decided to be the sacrifice and wouldn't listen to the other. See? You need rock, paper, scissors to decide. If you don't act quickly, we won't even have a chance to use this plan. They'll be here any moment. Okay. Either Angie or I will be the sacrifice. Lambda, you take whoever's left, steal the key, and take them back to the Golden Land. I won't let you do it, Oni-chan. Quit joking around. You've got to let me act like a big brother at least once in a while. There's no time. Rock, paper, scissors, single round. I'm super paper, so of course we'll start with that. Got it, you two? Fine. No regrets, okay? 3, 2, 1, paper! It really was a stupid kids game of rock, paper, scissors. Since they promised to start with paper, this was a chance to make a surprise attack and use something else. However, both Battler and Angie chose rock. They were trying to sacrifice themselves. And yet, it wasn't a tie. Because in addition to those two rocks, was one person who chose scissors? Aw. After staring stupidly at their fists and those scissors, they looked at her. Ah, dang. We were supposed to start with paper, so I figured I'd use scissors to beat you both. I guess paper should have stuck with paper. There had been no reason for Lambda Delta to join in on the game. This wasn't the time for a joke like that. Battler and Angie, each trying to lose, chose rock. Lambda Delta alone chose scissors. Don't tell me you intentionally... If you die, we can't even get back to the Golden Land. It doesn't count. Well then, you can just use this. When Lambda Delta made a clenched fist, a palely glowing fragment appeared there, and she gave it to the pair of them. Battler had seen one of those before. It was a magic fragment, like the one Erica had used before disappearing, which would allow one to cross the sea of fragments. With that, you can return to the Golden Lands. And anyway, I'm the best person for the job. You two probably wouldn't last a handful of seconds against Bern. If it's me, not only will an hour be no problem, but who knows, I might even win. And I owe her one. I've got to make this my victory and even the score. Still, away games are such a pain. Lambda Delta pretended to complain as she stood up straight. Anyway, see you in a bit. I guess a show-off like me couldn't stick to being a spectator after all. Sorry for stealing your time to shine. It's sad that I won't be able to watch your game until the end. But I've already been shown the script, so I'm not missing anything. Then with her broadest smile and a wink. This is your happy ending. I've already figured out what happens next, so there's no need to watch. I'll see you, the two of you, again. In the credit roll of your happy ending, that is. Wait. Lambda Delta snapped her fingers, and the two of them turned into Konpetu candies. She picked them up, took aim at the glint of the golden key, and flicked them away. That way, they should be able to reach the key without Bernkastel noticing. Dang. What terrible luck. What were the odds of them both playing a rock against my scissors? Yeah, I know. 1,000,000,000 to 1. It wasn't nice of me to test you like that. Sorry, you two. Then Lambda Delta's body was lit up by an emerald green light. She's so cool. I just need a moment. When she turned around, the cat's eyes and Lambda Delta's met. Lambda Delta grinned and waved. Whoa. There was a fierce roar and several bright flashes. What? A chain of explosions flashed by one after another, enveloping Bernkastel and her pack of familiars in an instant. They were multicolored fireworks, or rather, multicolored candy that burst with a flash and scattered everywhere. Countless stick candy, sugar sculptures, cookies, and tarts flew in every direction. And each one of those split and exploded into hundreds of candies. Each of which exploded again into a cloud of konpeto. However, these sweets weren't sweet. The konpeto was heavier than lead, harder than steel, and sharper than any blade. As the colorful cloud exploded outward, it blasted the entire pack of cats into little bits. The emerald green glints were scattered everywhere and sparkled like the night sky. And among them danced a cloud of pretty candies that looked like they'd go well on a Christmas tree. It was sufficiently outrageous and beautiful and cute to mark the Great Witch Lady Lambda Delta's appearance on the scene. Oh, if it isn't Lambda-chan. I was hoping to meet you in the party hall. I love you, Bern. Isn't whispering of our love all the better if we're alone? I'll be happy to hear it, after I've plucked off all of your limbs. With a jerk of her chin, Bern ordered her familiars to attack. This is my dearly beloved and only friend in the world. Her arms from elbow down. Her legs from the knees down. You can chew those up however you please, but not a scratch anywhere else on her. The crowd of cats undulated again, reforming into a single mass, and became the emerald green leviathan that would swallow up any prior victims who snuck into the city of books. It was shaped like an impossibly vast whale. However, it would look like a whale from Lambda's perspective? She probably couldn't see anything except an immense mouth about to swallow up everything. Simply wonderful. I'm about to be overwhelmed by Baron's love, aren't I? I do love you, Lambda. Once your limbs are gone, I'll skewer you through your butt and hang you by my bed. Weird. What love language is that? Every morning I'll give you a good morning kiss, and every evening I'll kiss you goodnight. Sounds great. Then I'd better wrap you up in my love too. However, Lambda Delta's war cry was swallowed up by the glowing, writhing Leviathan in a single bite. Yes, you are wonderful, Lambda. I love that empty-headed way you just do things without looking ahead or worrying about your own life. Wind? At the same instant the Lambda Delta was swallowed and Baron Castell was sure of her victory, the latter felt a slight breeze playing with her hair. The countless sweets that Lambda Delta had sent flying like fireworks, and which drifted about like the decorations of a Christmas party, were flowing. They were converging into a single point. It was like watching a firework run backwards. Countless sweets rapidly contracted around the vast, closed mouth of the Leviathan. A gigantic reverse explosion concentrated on a point inside it. Or perhaps it was more like countless candies showering the Leviathan from all directions like bullets. Inside that mass of green was a black swirl. The swirl was on a palm. On the palm of Lambda Delta, who wore a defiant smile. It was a mass of supergravity. All of the sweets, the cats, the whale, and everything else was being sucked into that one point and crunched. I'll hold you tight. Come here, Baron. You're trying to suck me in? All the candies Lambda Delta had scattered were getting sucked back into the black hole on her palm at unbelievable speeds. The reverse explosion of the oncoming candy whittled away at Leviathan, crushing it inwards. Lambda, come, let me give you a hug. With all her strength, Baron Castell held her ground in midair, trying to resist the supergravity. For the first time, all trace of condescension had left her face. Even Lambda Delta's cocky expression was marred by that sweat trailing from her forehead. Because their power was so overwhelming, any victory would have to be instantaneous. If either relaxed in the slightest, they would match each other's strengths and get dragged into another dizzyingly long fight that could last for centuries. Neither of them had any desire to go through that again, so neither of them showed the slightest mercy for their most beloved friend. But now, the Leviathan had been completely crushed and compressed inside the black hole. Baron Castell was the only one holding her ground. However, a windstorm of candy asteroids like the asteroid belt repeatedly slammed into Baron Castell, wearing away her girl's form bit by bit. I've got to get away or I'll really... The thing flying into Baron Castell's range of vision was a comet pelting straight for her with a massive present box at its core and a cloud of candy surrounding it. She's so cool. Oh. My body. Is she getting killed? Is she dying? The candy comet wiped out Baron Castell along with her scream. It burst into little bits, and within a blink of an eye, it was sucked back into the hole of supergravity. Once it was all gathered into one place like a gem, it began to spin rapidly. It was flattened by the centrifugal force, turning into something whose shape resembled a galaxy. After swallowing all of the cats and their master, it now looked like a wiggling, flickering, emerald green galaxy that floated just above Lambda Delta's palm. The pocket of supergravity kept compressing it further and further, until at the end it had become a single green, shining completo. Then it fell down onto her outstretched palm. Sorry, Baron. I wanted to play with you always, so I've always taken it easy and pretended to be in a pinch. She was sandbagging? Lambda Delta held the Conpeto above her head and peered at it. But the truth is, I'm just impossibly strong. Sorry about that. Then she pressed the Conpeto to her pink lips, gave it a light kiss, and bit down. This doesn't taste like Bairn. Lambda Delta licked her fingertips, then turned to face the empty air behind her. Oh? I already knew. My beloved Lambda. Was that Erica? Oh no. I love you, Bairn. Liar. I knew that you never took me seriously. In that case, let's love each other for real. Both of us, seriously. I do love you, Lambda Delta. I'm happy, so happy. I love you, Baron Castell. I'll turn you into candy and cuddle you with my tongue forever. No matter who wins, our love will never fade. That's wonderful. That's just wonderful. Okay, let's love each other right now. Toxic Yuri, so true. With a crash, crack lines appeared across the sky of the Golden Land. Oh, jeez. And finally, the barrier of the Golden Land was breached by the fleet's assault. It was a bizarre scene, more ridiculous than anything anyone had imagined. The sky of the Golden Land shattered like glass, and a fleet of sailboats flew in one after another. They were crowded with goats pushing each other and spilling off the sides. Come, let's begin. This is the Golden Land's final banquet. A banquet. It wasn't some fancy metaphor, but a simple statement of fact. The overwhelming surge of goat troops came in like a tsunami. The residents of the Golden Land, who stood defiantly, were like a forgotten sandcastle on a beach. A fight between a wave and a sandcastle is not a fight. This was a banquet for the oncoming Vikings at a stand-up meal, the voracious, merciless goats. There's no way around it. Fire! Good. Come, goats. Bring destruction to all that has form, stillness to all that moves, despair to all those who live. All those who could use magic fired it off at once. With a shout like a thunderclap, the goat tsunami rushed forward. Everything collided at once, and there was a brilliant and terrible explosion. Sparks and smoke, flying splinters and screams. For just an instant, the fierce magical cannonballs, fired by Beto, Virgilia, and the Chester Sister Corps, seemed to halt the goat tsunamis in its tracks. However, their numbers were so great that they didn't even flinch. The goat wave continued to walk over the corpses that had been blasted away, or which had fallen to their knees in weariness. The mound of corpses piled up, and still more goats were shot down as they tried to cross it. So that in a few seconds, it really was tall enough to be a tsunami. Pitiful. This Golden Land you built is nothing more than a sandcastle some kid left on a beach. Be swallowed up and disappear. Perhaps you should liken it to ripples beating meaninglessly against a wharf. A sandcastle getting swallowed by a wave? Just try swallowing this castle. Oh, she made the castles. Beto lifted her hands, telling the pair of battle towers that had been hidden deep in the ground the day of glory had come again. The goat tsunami looked up at it in shock. After all this time, the tsunami that towered over everything wasn't them. Hell yeah. A thunderstorm of rapid-fire ballista rounds had leapt from the battle tower gun ports. The goats let out a confused scream at the furious tempest that was bearing down on them. However, they saw something else too. Smothered mate. Oh, Virgilia! In the sky, high above the tower, was a reaper astride a divine horse backdropped by the moon. A massive spear the size of a tower in its hand. The great witch sitting on the horse by the reaper spoke. Welcome back. This world does not belong to you. Amazing. The heavenly spear pierced the ground. For an instant, it looked like some divine tower was sticking out of the ground. However, that was the very last thing that those eyes ever saw. The sacred spear was the embodiment of heaven's wrath. and the strength to bury an unclean city in a single stroke was unleashed upon the pack of goats. With a massive explosion that resembled a volcanic eruption, goats were sent flying all over the place. Awesome. Not bad. I guess they really are witches. But is it enough? The enemies keep coming. Looks like we'll be the ones swallowed up after all. At least you two seem to be enjoying yourselves. Kinso. How could one fail to enjoy such a festival? It seems our time in the limelight shall not be stolen from us after all. Looks like it. I'm all fired up. Yes, the crowd of goats truly was like a wave pressing in from the sea. You might be able to split a ripple in the beach with your feet, but you can't split the sea. Witches could, however... witches could. However, that meant the other side also had someone who could split seas. Suddenly, smoke poured from one of the two towers, and the ground shook as it crumbled. Did Erica cut it with her scythe? She is a witch. What the hell happened? Over there, on top of the other tower. Erica. But of course, it's your turn now, is it not? At the top of the other battle tower, Erica stood gracefully, wielding her scythe. I'd say that's enough to show the witches of the Golden Land proper respect. All magic is fake. It's just a fantasy sandcastle that'll always vanish when mystery swallows it up. Playing witches was pretty fun, though. I think I remember playing something like this with some of the older girls from the neighborhood, back when I was younger. So, let's bring this to an end. Now it's time to hear your scream. Erica threw up that pretentious pirate hat that she had been wearing the whole time into the sky. With the moon behind it, Erica's form, her afterimage, vanished from the tower's peak. Where is she? We have her on radar. She's on the side of the tower. Shaking with a wild, joyous laughter, Erica dashed straight down the tower. She swung her scythe like a baton, and as she passed along the tower's wall, its gun ports, walls, pillars, and everything else was crushed, leaving a trail of smoke. Though, from the sidelines, it looked as though smoke suddenly split the tower from top to bottom. The golden arrows of the Chester Sisters Corps chased after Erica like golden threads in a sewing machine. You monster! Get yourself sewed and embroidered, nya! Good. Even the golden arrows couldn't catch up with Erica. Finally, Erica reached the bottom of the battle tower and empty cartridges were ejected from the golden bows. First, useless tower. Isn't that the phrase? Erica, who had now landed on the ground, slowly stood up and tapped the tower behind her with the handle of her scythe. The tiny tap cut the final string that held the tower together, and the whole thing fell in on itself with an earth-shattering crash. Once again, the dark tsunami rumbled forward through the rubble and smoke. I am Fruto Erica, Witch of Truth. This moment marks the dismantling of the Golden Land by truth. Dust to dust. Illusions to illusions. I'll end your daydream for you. Come, try and remember... Ooh, that's a deep cut. Ghosts, remember how you died so long ago. The goat tsunami swallowed everything up. When she saw them sink under the black sea of goats, Erica guffawed from atop the debris of the tower. Come now, kill them, massacre them all. Cut off all their heads and stick them on spears. Ghosts of 1986, the time has come for the whirlpool of truth to swallow you whole and erase you. So long. Whoa. All right. I hate to do this to y'all, but that's where we're going to stop tonight. We're going to finish this on Saturday. Thank you so much for watching. We are so close to finished, but it is late. And this chapter is... I know. I know, I'm sorry. This chapter is at least 2 more hours. And there's no way I'm going to finish that tonight. That would take us till like 1 a.m. So, tonight I cannot finish it. And this is the last chapter before the tea party. Yeah, this is a 1 hour, 45-minute chapter before the tea party. Consider Umineko is worth it. Umineko is worth it. I have to do a lot tomorrow. I have to car shop tomorrow. I have to get a new car. So I need to make sure I'm well rested. We will finish on Saturday, no matter what. Even if it's another 5-6 hours, we will finish. I'm pretty sure it's going to be about 2 hours to finish this chapter, and then about an hour or 2 for the tea parties. So I think it's going to be like 3 or 4 hours. And then we'll do a final tier list and final thoughts about Umineko. So it'll be a pretty long stream on Saturday. Probably starting in the evening. Maybe start around like 7 p.m. Eastern so that right when midnight hits, I can turn on the bomb and we explode. I think that is how the stream's going to end on Saturday. I'm just going to set like a GIF for midnight and just explode it like right at midnight. Yeah, thanks so much for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed. This was amazing. I'm so excited for the finale. 1 more to go. I can't believe it. I can't believe we made it this far in this much time. Yes, much love. Thank you all for watching. Let me see if there's anyone to raid out to. Blem is streaming. This is late for Blem to be streaming. See what he's up to. This looks like peak. I'll send it over there. Oh, he's been going for 8 hours. Holy. Yeah, you know what? I'm still going to send it. It looks like he's in the middle of a level of something, so get at least a little bit of time. Any other VNs on the horizon? Oh, geez. I don't know. Probably. Probably, certainly, but any recommendations I will definitely check out. The only things I don't really want to do are Ace Attorney. I don't like the gameplay of Ace Attorney, so I probably won't play that. But, yeah. Alright, I'm sending it off. Y'all be good to one another. See you on Saturday. And, yeah. Enjoy. Obligatory fault killing? The break after this long playthrough is good. If you do... Oh, I did all the, I did all 999 and the Zero Escape series. I did those. They are also peak. Yeah. Alright. Adios.